I didn't suspect anything, but one day something appeared in my house that turned everything upside down. Listen to the end to find out what really happened. I first noticed the change on a Thursday night. Andrea had started running the bathroom fan long after she left the room. She said the white noise helped her sleep, and that was the end of it, for her. But something about it didn't sit right. It wasn't just the fan. It was her whole energy. Distant, floaty. She wasn't where she was anymore. A week later, it was our 6-year-old daughter who unknowingly dropped a bomb. "Mom doesn't hear me knock," she said, fiddling with her crayons. "She's wearing headphones and talking to a man." My hands stilled on the plate I was drying. I didn't ask Andrea about it. I didn't confront. I stored it. She forgot our dinner anniversary after that, at the exact place we'd gone every year without fail. Candlelight, jazz trio, the works. "Wasn't that last week?" she asked, playing it off. I nodded like it didn't sting, but inside something clicked. Then came the phone thing. She always kept hers on in case the kids woke up. One night I noticed it was on airplane mode. "Better sleep," she claimed, said the blue light messed with her head. But I've been married long enough to know when a lie sounds rehearsed. So I waited. The next night, when she was in the shower, I slid her phone into my car's charger port, using the excuse that I needed something from the glove box. It was quiet, still, until 12:43 a.m. "I can't do this anymore. Tell him." My heart didn't even race. It just dropped. That kind of message wasn't sent between coworkers or old friends. It was a line drawn in sand. I put the phone back exactly where I found it. Didn't say a word. Just laid in bed beside her and stared at the ceiling, listening to her breathe like nothing had changed. The next morning I told her I was heading to my brother's place for a couple days. We had roof repairs to sort out. She didn't ask why. She kissed me goodbye. I packed light, but I took a little something with me. A test device I'd been trying out for work. A tiny voice recorder I'd hidden beneath the passenger seat of her car. The kind that captures everything. Laughs, whispers, names. I stayed at my brother's place for 2 nights. Pretended to relax, drank a few beers, let him believe I was helping with shingles. But both nights I sat in the guest room with earbuds in, listening to her life without me. The audio was worse than I expected. Not graphic, not sexual. Just worse. Laughter. Compliments. Talk of how Andrea had almost convinced Matt to take out another loan because he trusts me with everything. I heard the smirk in her voice. The car door closed, music played low, and then there was silence, followed by what sounded unmistakably like a kiss. When I came back, I said nothing. I waited until she was settled, then asked her to handle the home insurance switch we discussed. She hesitated, said she already had. I asked to see the paperwork. She changed the subject. I checked the account later that night. The new co-owner listed wasn't me. That night, I sent the kids to stay with my mom. Told Andrea we needed time to reconnect. "Take a break," I said. She seemed flattered. She poured wine, curled into me on the couch. I watched her, wondering how much she had compartmentalized to live in this version of us. She thought we were rekindling. I was collecting. I uploaded everything, audio, messages, banking records, even metadata from her phone, into a secure cloud folder. Then I focused on one name that came up in the recordings. Not the lovers. A woman. Marla. Andrea had mentioned her in a whisper. "If Matt finds out about the documents, I'm screwed. Marla said this is risky." She wasn't a friend. She was a lawyer. I reached out anonymously, just to ping through her firm's contact form, but Marla called back the next morning. She knew who I was. Didn't ask how I found her. "Are you ready to proceed?" she asked. I told her yes. We planned something Andrea would never see coming. A weekend getaway, Palm Springs, just the two of us. Andrea thought I was being romantic again, trying to fix what she didn't know I'd already dismantled. She smiled when I booked the villa. She kissed me. She leaned into me like she belonged there. She didn't. While she packed sun hats and yoga pants, I prepped a folder. Messages, account screenshots, timestamps, wire transfers, recordings. All of it printed and placed on the bedspread of the villa before she even walked in the door. That night before the trip, she lay in bed beside me and asked if we should get couples massages when we arrived. "I think we need that," she said softly. And I thought, you have no idea what you really need. Andrea walked into the Palm Springs villa like she expected roses on the bed. She smiled at the sunlight, rolled her suitcase over the tile, and didn't notice the folder until it stopped her cold. Thick, crisp, color-printed, lying right on the bedspread. "Matt," she called, half laughing. I didn't answer, just stepped in and shut the door. She opened the folder. First page, the message that pinged through her phone when it was charging in my car. "I can't do this anymore. Tell him." Then came transcribed recordings, her voice laughing in the car, telling someone how easy it was to get me to apply for another loan. Receipts, bank transfers, screenshots of her M. Harris Venmo payments, and at the back, a notarized request for Child Protective Services to evaluate our home, citing the presence of someone with a child-related restraining order. She stared down at the last page, frozen, her face drained of everything: color, control, defiance. Words spilled out. "It's not what you think. You're invading my privacy. This is cruel." But none of it mattered. She tried to shout, then cry, tried guilt next. But I just stood there. Then came the threat. "I swear I'll jump. I'll do it." Her hands were shaking, her voice cracked. I picked up the phone and called 911. Told them calmly I had a partner in crisis. She collapsed to the floor and screamed. But I didn't stay. I walked out the front door and drove away before the ambulance arrived. After that, I didn't see her again. The next days were clinical. I met with Marla. She processed the case faster than I thought possible. Custody, financial manipulation, co-ownership fraud, digital evidence all laid out. She'd seen worse, but not by much. I sent the kids to my mom's for another week and filed for full custody. Andrea called 17 times, never left a voicemail. I didn't unblock her, didn't reply. Then Carmen, her sister, showed up. "What the hell did you do to her?" she snapped at the door. I invited her in, played her a 5-minute audio clip, Andrea in the car with her lover, laughing about my credit score and how gullible I was. Carmen sat frozen, then quietly left without a word. Andrea's lawyer reached out next, clearly caught off guard. They didn't even attempt to deny anything, just asked for visitation negotiations. I allowed for supervised visits, no alimony, no shared custody. I made one thing clear: I won't leave my kids in an unsafe house again. Andrea didn't fight. Her lawyer admitted she hadn't been in contact in days. Then nothing. No response. She disappeared. Weeks later, I got a letter from another state. No return address. Just a neat apology. She asked for forgiveness. Said she missed the man who trusted her. Said she didn't know why she broke what was whole. I didn't answer. Time passed. I moved the kids to Colorado. Quiet town, small shop, fresh start. I opened an auto repair garage with a buddy. Nothing flashy, just real work. My son took to it fast. Ellie liked running diagnostics, even if she didn't know what half the words meant. Life felt quiet again. Honest. One night my phone buzzed. Andrea's name flashed on the screen. A message. I didn't open it. I didn't even glance twice. I just deleted it. Then looked across the room. My boy at the table fixing a flashlight, Ellie curled up with a book, and whispered to no one. "We're home." I didn't hear from Andrea for months after the letter. Her lawyer dropped communications shortly after filing. No court challenges, no signatures, just quiet. Her disappearance wasn't clean. It was stained with unpaid debts and the mess she left behind. But it was complete. She was gone. The court processed everything without her. The evidence spoke louder than any testimony. Financial fraud, risk to the children, unstable cohabitation. Her actions gave me every legal inch I needed. I was granted full custody, no visitation until she could prove medical and psychological stability. CPS signed off after a home visit, which Marla insisted on attending. The moment they stepped out, I saw it in their faces. They knew exactly who the safe parent was. She didn't even contest it. I sold our old house, not out of necessity. We were fine financially, but because I couldn't walk through the kitchen without seeing the chair she used to sit in during wine-fueled deceptions, the way she'd laugh at her phone, the smell of her lavender lotion. I didn't want my kids to grow up inside that echo. The shop in Colorado opened mid-spring, small cinder block building with one working lift and a rusted-out Ford parked in back that I let my son tinker with. He loved it. Ellie made a sign that read, "Dad fixes everything," in crooked purple paint and hung it on the front counter. Customers noticed. Some asked where we were from. I never gave much detail. By summer, things started to feel normal. We had routine again. Packed lunches, scraped knees, cartoons before bed. I made every dinner. Laundry, dishes, school drop-offs. I filled every space she'd emptied, and not once did I wish she'd come back to help. But she wasn't completely gone. The name Andrea started slipping into places it didn't belong. My son said it once in his sleep. Ellie asked me why Mommy never called. Then quietly, "Is she in trouble?" I told them she was taking time to get better, that people make mistakes, that sometimes you have to fix yourself before you can fix anything else. They seemed to accept that, for now, but not everyone did. It started with a message from an unknown number. "We should talk. You know who this is." I didn't reply. 3 days later, a car I didn't recognize parked outside the shop. Black SUV, tinted windows. It sat there for 15 minutes before driving off. My gut knew it wasn't random. That night, I checked our security footage. Sure enough, Andrea. She didn't knock, didn't get out, just watched. I didn't tell the kids, I didn't alert Marla. I wanted to see what she'd do next. A week later, her sister Carmen emailed me, said Andrea was back in town, said she was struggling, said she wanted to see the kids. She included no address, no contact number, just a question. Can she have one phone call? I didn't answer. Instead, I called the phone company and shut off the number Andrea used to be on, transferred every trace of our past into archive folders, deleted old voicemails, changed locks, blocked anything that connected her to us, not out of spite, but because I didn't want her slipping through again like smoke. Then came the call from Marla. She'd been contacted by a new attorney, Andrea's presumably, inquiring about visitation reconsideration. Not emotion, just curiosity. "She's fishing," Marla said, "testing the water. Let her drown in it," I told her. But that wasn't how the world worked. Courts liked redemption arcs. They liked showing a path back to shared parenting, even when one party torched the family to begin with. So I prepared for the possibility. I started documenting everything again. Sightings, messages, timestamps, emails. Not with paranoia, but precision. The same quiet patience I'd used to watch her fall apart the first time. If she wanted back in, she'd have to walk through fire first. And this time, I wasn't shielding her from the heat. It wasn't long before I saw her again. Up close. I was picking up groceries with the kids. Ellie had begged for those frosted cookies she always loved. We were in the cereal aisle when I saw Andrea 2 rows over, half hiding behind a display of laundry detergent. She looked thinner, haggard. She hadn't seen us yet. I turned the cart and walked the other way. Ellie didn't notice. My son might have, but he didn't say anything. That night, another message came in. No name. "They looked happy. You've done well." I stared at the screen for a full minute, then deleted it. The kids and I spent the weekend camping just outside town. Cold air. Stars like frozen pinholes in the sky. I made pancakes over the fire. Ellie said they tasted like cartoons. My boy made a game out of tossing pine cones at a stump, laughing every time he missed. They didn't mention their mother once. On the way back, my phone buzzed again. Unknown number. "I don't want custody. I just want to see them." Number she didn't get to just want anymore. It wasn't rage that finally lit the fuse. It was her voice. The call came just after sunset. I'd blocked every number she ever had, but she found another route. Landline maybe, spoof number, didn't matter. I answered without thinking, assuming it was a vendor or a new customer for the shop. Then I heard her. "Matt," she whispered. I froze. "I'm not asking for forgiveness," she said quickly, before I could hang up. "I just want to talk. I need to say something out loud." I didn't reply. I didn't breathe. I see what I destroyed now. I thought I wanted more. More freedom, more life, more validation. But I had it. I had everything. Her voice cracked. You were never the problem. I let the silence hang, heavy and deliberate. I don't expect you to care anymore, she added, but I want you to know I never meant to hurt the kids. I was sick. I still am, maybe. She paused, waited, maybe for grace or pity. She didn't get it. I ended the call without a word. That night I stood in the doorway of my son's room, watching him breathe. His fingers were still curled around the flashlight we'd fixed together. Down the hall, Ellie snored with her face buried in her books. These two tiny lives had gone through hell and never once asked why. They just adapted, kept laughing, kept trusting me to steer. And I'd done it. I'd carried them through her wreckage. But I wasn't finished. Not yet. I met with Marla the next morning. Told her I wanted to finalize every protection we'd left flexible. Custody, visitation blocks, emergency contacts, travel restrictions. She nodded without a word. We drafted it all, filed it that same day. I didn't care how it looked. Let her cry to the court. Let her pretend she was stable now. She had forfeited that claim the moment she made my life an accessory to her betrayal. She'd burned down our house with the kids inside, and I dragged them out through the smoke. Weeks passed. She didn't call again. But the legal push came anyway, a thin motion to request supervised visitation once every 3 months. Her lawyer painted a picture of recovery, therapy, support groups. A mother who's making progress. We countered hard. Marla laid out every detail again. How Andrea had tried to manipulate finances, sneak an unvetted man into our home's legal documents, risk our kids for her own convenience. CPS re-reviewed our file and reaffirmed their stance. The court ruled in my favor. Again, no visitation, not yet, maybe not ever. The day that motion was denied, I took the kids out for pizza. Ellie painted her teeth red with cherry soda. My son stacked pepperoni slices into a tower. They had no idea the war that had just ended in silence behind courtroom walls. I liked it that way, but I wasn't finished. I found the man, the one she'd risked everything for. He wasn't hard to locate, records, employment trails, mutual contacts. He worked at a landscaping supply company an hour away. I drove there one morning without telling anyone, sat in my truck, waited. When he came out on his break, I stepped onto the lot. He recognized me immediately, tried to pretend he didn't. You don't have to run, I said. I'm not here for a scene. He stopped a few feet away, arms crossed, tense. He was shorter than I imagined, nervous, a shadow of the man who'd once laughed about how easy I was to manipulate. I'm just here to give you something. I pulled a small envelope from my coat and handed it to him. Inside, a copy of the final custody order, CPS notes, court ruling, a single photo of my kids, and a sticky note in my handwriting. They're safe. Stay gone. I didn't wait for a reaction. I turned and walked away. Back home, life returned to its rhythm. The shop grew. I hired a second mechanic. Ellie helped me build her first bike from scraps in the back. My son started saving money to buy a dirt bike, something to build with me from the frame up. They didn't mention her anymore. One morning, Ellie asked if she could bring a friend over after school. I told her yes. She smiled and ran off to get her shoes. I stood in the kitchen, pouring coffee, when a message buzzed in. Andrea, I saw the custody denial. I understand. I'm sorry. This time, I didn't just delete it. I blocked the number, then reported it. That night, I opened a new folder on my computer, labeled it Final, moved everything into it. The recordings, the screenshots, the documents, every trace of the chaos. Then I deleted the whole thing. Not to forgive her, to forget her. She no longer existed in our story. Later that week, the kids and I took a road trip. No destination. Just a full tank, a box of snacks, and a borrowed tent. We drove through winding hills, stopped at every overlook, listened to old rock on the radio. One night, with the fire dying down, Ellie asked if we were ever going back. Back where? I asked. She shrugged. To where Mom is. I looked at the flames, felt the breeze move around us like something alive. No, I said quietly. We're not. She nodded. No tears, just understanding. In that moment, I realized she wasn't asking about visiting Andrea. She was asking if we were going to leave this life we'd built, the new one, the honest one. I threw another log onto the fire, sat back in my chair, stared up at the stars. No guilt, no regret, just peace. We were never going back. Let her burn. That's all for now, folks. Thank you for being with me today and listened. And if you liked my story, please subscribe, hit the like button, and comment below what you think about all this and what would you do if you were me. Also, don't forget to check my other stories in description below.